Hello once again, my video game lovers. My name is Pell, and this is once again coming from my white room. Now, this week's video game that I have for you guys is Halo 4. 343 Industries did their first crack at the Halo series with Halo 4. I thought that they did a pretty good job, honestly. So, let's get into why. Starting off with the story, it picks off pretty much right after the events of the Halo trilogy. So it's 4 years later. Chief is still in the same ship, Forward Unto Dawn, that he was at the very end of Halo 3. And it's basically getting attacked. He gets off the ship, and he ends up on a Forerunner planet. And then stuff progresses from there. He has to stop a Didact who is like the leader of the Forerunners, I think. I'm not big into Halo lore, so I don't know a lot of the background, but in terms of story, that is essentially what it is about. And then, kind of more or less the main story is Cortana. She is a year past her expectant lifespan, and so she's starting to go rampant a few times. And the farther you get into the game, the more rampant she becomes, and it's kind of sad to see this occur to a character who's been in the series for a very long time. And so, yeah, that's the story. Chief is trying to find a way to fix up Cortana and then also stop the Didact from taking over the world. So, that's a fun story. But it was really well done, I thought. In terms of graphics are amazing in this game. Chief looks really well done. You can tell that the makers really worked hard to make him stand out. I think they changed Cortana's look a little bit, but you just get used to it, and it worked really fine. In terms of voiceover, it was all really synced up well. There was little to no problems with it. And then also the environments looked amazing for the most part. A lot of it kind of was just standard Halo environments, but there were some unique ones, and those were really cool. The enemies worked really well as well. They looked really good. For all humans that fight with you at some points, they looked average, I guess. The cutscenes looked amazing. CGI cutscenes, phenomenal. They looked really good. But yeah, for the most part, graphics, A+. Gameplay wise, 343 Industries, they didn't really change a whole lot. They kind of kept a lot of the same features that Halo 3 introduced. As far as I could tell, the gameplay controls were more or less the same. I hadn't played Halo 3 in a very long time, so I don't really remember if they were exactly the same. They didn't take very long to get used to. In terms of enemy AI, they were difficult at some points, but once you figured out a pattern and a strategy to beat them, it was pretty simple to get through it. I played through it on normal, so just to get through it fairly easily, but still give myself a challenge. Yeah, I felt that the AI was pretty good. They weren't really stupid for the most part. Maybe some enemies were a little bit simpler to take down. The human AIs that fight with you sometimes, they also did a fairly good job. There was a point in one of the missions where I was driving a Warthog, I was riding a Warthog on the turret, and I had a human AI drive, and I spent 3 minutes just going in a circle because he couldn't find his way around the ship, and so that part was a little annoying and glitchy. But besides that, AI worked really well. Now, I haven't took a crack at multiplayer yet. I probably won't, just because I play games for the story and not for the multiplayer, because it just starts to bore me after a while. I did play Spartan Ops though, and that is basically a side story for the most part. I think it's broken into 6 episodes, and then each episode has a CGI cutscene that goes with it that introduces a set of chapters that go with that episode. I'm not through it yet, but I've finished the first episode, and it's pretty well done. It's fairly simple. If you die, you just kind of respawn just like you would in multiplayer. In that sense, the enemies can be a little more difficult because they can just surround you and wipe you out really easily sometimes. But again, it's just developing a strategy. Once you get the weapons that you are used to and that you know you can take out certain enemies with, then it becomes a cakewalk for the most part. Yeah, Spartan Ops, really well done, in my opinion. The game kept Forge, so you can customize areas and maps and stuff like that. Kept the theater mode, so you can replay individual games. And then your Spartan can upgrade. In Spartan Ops, he can upgrade as well. So it's not just multiplayer, which was something that I really liked. Because, like I said, never play multiplayer, so my guy never gets upgraded. With Spartan Ops, I can just replay missions, and play the missions, and then replay them later. Just get my guy continually leveled up. It's a decent way to get some of the achievements that I would have otherwise missed. Weapons. In terms of weapons, all the human and covenant weapons, they stay the same for the most part. There might be one or two new ones, but nothing really noticeable. The Promethean weapons, they are actually really well done. First time you pick one up, you see it just kind of morph and fit into your hand, so that part's kind of cool. Right off the bat in the beginning of the campaign, you got your standard like sniper rifle, you got your assault rifle, you got your pistol, you got other stuff too, and those are the weapons that I found myself using the most actually, because they're the most effective against the Promethean enemies, because they're just freaking tough as hell. So overall, gameplay worked really well. I had very little issues with it, and so yeah. Moving on to enjoyment, I did enjoy the game very much. I enjoyed it a lot more than I was thinking I was going to, because I'd heard mixed things about it. I heard some people say it wasn't that good. I heard other people say it was a really good game. So I went into it not really knowing what to expect. Based on trailers, I thought it was just going to be a whole new thing, no Covenant involvement whatsoever. First 2 or 3 missions, all Covenant enemies. So I'm like, oh, okay, this is more of the same than I'm used to. This isn't that good. But then you get into the story more, and you see why the Covenant are there, more or less. And yeah, it just worked really well. I enjoyed it. Cutscenes are amazing, gameplay is fun, and story is really well put together. I'm excited for the next 2 games in the trilogy, because I'm assuming that there will be 2 more in the Forerunner trilogy. So that's my review. Like, favorite, comment, and subscribe if you so choose. I would appreciate that immensely. And yeah, that's about it. As always, my name is Nick Pell, and once again, my good people, keep on gaming.